nothing, no drug can ever equate to that experience. Like, there's nothing out there. It's just, your mind is just, well, for me, it was just gone.
In June 2005, after getting into a fight with her parents, 21-year-old Ashley Parlier, who was from Battle Creek, Michigan, vanished without a trace. Her murder mystery has been unresolved for the past 18 years, leaving her loved ones and friends frantic for information. Nevertheless, in 2023, there was a discovery that brought new insight into the unexplained disappearance of Ashley Parlier. Hi and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, as it helps us motivate to create more intriguing content for you. Let's have a look at the 18-year-old cold case finally solved in 2023. Ashley Parlier was described as an individual who was reserved and trustworthy despite having a little mental impairment. She overcame the obstacles in her life and managed to live each day with enthusiasm, eventually landing a job at a Taco Bell restaurant in Battle Creek. On June 12, 2005, Ashley ran away from her home in Bedford Township following a disagreement with her parents regarding the possibility of her becoming pregnant. Despite not owning a car, having no driver's license, lacking a cell phone, and not possessing a credit card, Ashley did have approximately $700 in cash. At first, Ashley's family was under the impression that she would be back soon after letting off some steam at a friend's apartment. However, as the days stretched into weeks without any contact, they grew increasingly anxious and eventually filed a missing person complaint with the police. In the hopes of receiving information from the general public, law enforcement officials disclosed her physical description as well as the clothing she was wearing at the time she vanished. There were a number of reports sent in, including purported sightings in the vicinity of Houghton Lake, but none of them turned out to be helpful. The investigation by the police looked in a number of different directions, including questioning Ashley's ex-boyfriend and examining the prospect that she may have committed suicide. However, there was neither conclusive proof nor clues that pointed in the right direction, thus the investigation is still ongoing. Several officers from the Battle Creek Police Department worked on the investigation for the next 18 years, but they were unable to make any significant headway in the investigation. 2021, Pennsylvania law enforcement officers were questioning a 44-year-old serial murderer named Harold David Holman III when they unexpectedly came across a lead in the investigation of the murder of Ashley Parlier. During the course of his interrogation, Holman unprompted brought up the Parlier case, despite the fact that he was already under investigation for the murder of two women, Tiana Phillips and Erica Schultz. Holman said that he was responsible for Ashley's abduction and disclosed that he had lived in Battle Creek between the years 2002 and 2009 and that he had spoken with her during that time. Following a heated discussion, Holman resorted to physical violence at Ashley, which knocked her out. After that, he drove her to Pennsylvania, where he eventually killed her by striking her over the head with a piece of wood. Holman divulged information regarding the spot in the northern portion of Newton Township where he hid Ashley's body after he had disposed of it. The criminal record of Harold David Holman III begins when he was only 20 years old and continues till the present day. In 1999, he was responsible for the death of 21-year-old Joseph Whitehurst, who was a resident at a military base in the southwest of Germany. Following Holman's confession to the crime, he was given a reduced sentence because of his young age and the fact that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. After moving back to the United States, Holman found work as a truck driver and settled in the area around Battle Creek. Despite this, he continued to exhibit aggressive tendencies, which ultimately led to the deaths of Tiana Phillips and Erica Schultz. All of his victims were assaulted with head injuries, and their bodies were dumped in isolated areas without being buried. After obtaining a confession from Harold David Holman III, the Calhoun County Police Department assumed control of the investigation into Ashley Parlier's homicide. In connection with the deaths of Erica Schultz and Tiana Phillips, Holman was investigated and charged with kidnapping, criminal homicide, and mistreatment of a body. After 18 years of waiting, the Parlier family was able to achieve the sense of completion they had been looking for. The perseverance of law enforcement officers and the tenacity of Ashley's family and friends in their search for her ultimately paid off and led to her discovery. The finding of Ashley's remains brought on an overwhelming feeling of loss and grief, but it also brought a sense of resolution and justice to the situation. On trial for his crimes in 2023, including the kidnapping and murder of Ashley Parlier, was Harold David Holman III. The prosecution provided an overabundance of evidence, which included a lengthy confession from Holman as well as confirming forensic evidence. As Ashley's family members and friends sat in the courtroom and listened to the gruesome details of her final moments, the atmosphere became tense. Throughout the course of the trial, it became abundantly clear that Holman was a troubled character who had a protracted history of violent behavior. His previous convictions for murder in Germany, as well as his later deaths in Pennsylvania, only served to further solidify his position as a dangerous serial killer. The state's attorneys argued in favor of Holman receiving the maximum sentence possible, stressing the importance of shielding society from Holman's sadistic impulses. Harold David Holman III was found guilty on all charges relating to the kidnapping, murder, and disposal of Ashley's body by a jury after a lengthy trial and meticulous deliberation. The charges stem from Ashley's disappearance, which led to her death. The judge decided to give Holman a sentence of life in prison without the chance of release, which would ensure that he would never pose a risk to anybody else's safety again. The case of Ashley Parlier serves as a sobering reminder of the tenacity required to solve cold cases and bring closure to the families of those who have suffered a loss. An investigation that had been ongoing for nearly 2 decades was finally able to be solved because of the unrelenting efforts of law enforcement and the breakthroughs in forensic technology. The tragic events surrounding Ashley's abduction brought to light the significance of providing help to vulnerable members of society, particularly those with disabilities. Her story triggered conversations about expanding the availability of resources and raising awareness for those who have mental disorders, as well as protecting their safety and improving their access to support networks. The Parlier family, devastated by the irreparable loss of their beloved Ashley, has found solace in the knowledge that justice has been served. Though they will forever carry the pain of her absence, they have channeled their grief into becoming staunch advocates for the rights of victims and missing persons. Drawing from their own harrowing experience, they have embraced the role of champions, dedicated to raising awareness and effecting meaningful change. With unwavering determination, the Parlier family has taken up the mantle, working tirelessly to shed light on the plight of missing persons and to lobby for crucial policy reforms. Their mission is clear: to ensure that the tragic circumstances that befell Ashley do not repeat themselves in the lives of others. Through their advocacy efforts, they strive to create a world where similar tragedies become increasingly difficult to occur. The Parlier family's resolve stems from a place of empathy and a deep understanding of the pain and anguish experienced by families in similar situations. Their unwavering commitment to making a difference has seen them actively engage with legislators, law enforcement agencies, and the public, imparting their first-hand knowledge and urging for changes that will enhance the protection and rights of missing persons. By sharing their personal story and lending their voices to the cause, the Parlier family serves as a beacon of hope for countless others grappling with the agonizing uncertainty of a missing loved one. Their tireless efforts and advocacy work inspire communities to come together, fostering support networks and fostering compassion for those affected by similar tragedies. In 2023, the unsolved missing person case of Ashley Parlier, which had been open for the previous 18 years, was at last solved, bringing relief to her bereaved family and friends. The confession of serial killer Harold David Holman III disclosed the horrible end that serial killer he had brought upon Ashley. The conviction of Holman and the life sentence that followed made it absolutely certain that he would never cause harm to another individual again. The example of Ashley serves as a useful illustration of the significance of never giving up the search for the truth, even when confronted with the most difficult of situations. It also brings to light the necessity of providing support and protection for persons who are vulnerable in society. Ashley Parlier's life was cut short in an accident, but her family and community are working to ensure that further tragedies like hers are prevented and that others in need receive the assistance they require to move on with their lives. What do you think of this case? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, do like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. Thanks for watching.